Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, seekers of truth and builders of community, welcome. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of introducing a man whose words do not just echo through the pages of history, but vibrate through our present struggle for justice, dignity, and real freedom. The man we are about to hear from is no stranger to controversy, no stranger to courage, and certainly no stranger to telling it like it is, regardless of who it unsettles. His name is Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, and his legacy remains a torch for those of us who refuse to let anyone else create our image, shape our minds, or dictate our path. This evening's excerpt is from a speech Malcolm delivered to the Peace Corps workers on December 12, 1964, a message meant for young leaders then, and a message that still shakes the bones of young leaders now. In this speech, he reminds us that leadership demands independent thought, clear vision, and the courage to fight oppression by any means necessary. He challenges us to stand guard over our minds, to see for ourselves, to hear for ourselves, to think for ourselves, so we can judge for ourselves what freedom truly is. He reminds us that racism is not merely an American problem. It is a human problem, an international crime against our shared humanity. As you listen tonight, remember, these words are not relics of the past. They are a call to action in the present, a reminder that we too must speak the language our oppressor understands, that self-defense is not violence, but intelligence, that the time to reject manufactured images and false progress is now. So open your hearts, open your minds, and let this message settle deep into your bones. It is my honor to welcome to this space the words, the spirit, the uncompromising truth of Brother Malcolm X.
First, I would like to point out that since it is my understanding that most of you are training to be leaders in the community, the country, and the world, some advice that I would give is that whenever you occupy a position of responsibility, never accept images that have been created for you by someone else. It is always better to form the habit of learning how to see things for yourself, listen to things for yourself, and think for yourself. Then you are in a better position to judge for yourself. We are living in a time when image making has become a science. Someone can create a certain image and then use that image to twist your mind and lead you right up a blind path. I point these things out, especially for you and me, those of us who are trying to come from behind. If we aren't aware, we'll find that all these modem methods of trickery will be used, and we will be maneuvered into thinking that we are getting freedom or thinking that we are making progress when actually we will be going backward. So my advice to any of you who at any time think that you'll ever be placed in a position of responsibility, you owe it to others as well as to yourself to be very careful about letting others make up your mind for you. You have to learn how to see for yourself, hear for yourself, think for yourself, and then judge for yourself. Secondly, I would like to say this. It concerns my own personal self, whose image they have projected in their own light. I am against any form of racism. We are all against racism. The only difference between you and me is that you want to fight racism and racists nonviolently and lovingly, and I'll fight them the way they fight me. Whatever weapon they use, that's the one I'll use. I go for talking the kind of language he talks. You can't communicate with a person unless you use the language he uses. If a man is speaking French, you can talk German all night long. He won't know what you're talking about. You have to find out what kind of language he understands, and then you put it to him in the language that he understands. You believe in treating everybody right, whether they put a rope around your neck or whether they put you in the grave. Well, my belief isn't that strong. I believe in the brotherhood of man, but I think that anybody who wants to lynch a Negro is not qualified for that brotherhood, and I don't put forth any effort to get them into that brotherhood. You want to save him, and I don't. So I must emphasize, we are dealing with a powerful enemy. And again, I am not anti-American or un-American. I think there are plenty of good people in America, but there are also plenty of bad people in America. And the bad ones are the ones who seem to have all the power and be in these positions to block things that you and I need. Because this is the situation. You and I have to preserve the right to. I don't even call it violence when it's self-defense. I call it intelligence. When you find people outside America who look like you getting power, my suggestion is that you turn to them and make them your allies. Let them know that we all have the same problem, that racism is not an internal American problem, but an international problem. Racism is a human problem and a crime that is absolutely so ghastly that a person who is fighting racism is well within his rights to fight against it by any means necessary until it is eliminated. When you and I can start thinking like that and we get involved in some kind of activity with that kind of liberty, I think we'll get some ends to some of our problems almost overnight.
Thank you all for listening and really hearing the words of Brother Malcolm X tonight. Let's remember the three big truths he left us in this powerful message to the Peace Corps. First, that real leadership means refusing to accept the images and ideas the world tries to force on us. We must see for ourselves, listen for ourselves, think for ourselves, and judge for ourselves. Second, that when we stand up to oppression, we have the right, the duty, to defend ourselves by any means necessary. Self-defense is not violence. It is intelligence. And third, that racism is not just an American issue. It is a global crime against our human family, and it demands a global unity. People of color around the world must see each other as allies in this fight. Brothers and sisters, these words were spoken in 1964. Yet they still ring like a bell in 2025. Because the struggle didn't stop, and neither can we. We all have the responsibility to be the best, most honest, and most fearless representation of ourselves for our communities, our country, and our world. So as you leave here tonight, remember, the fight is not just to live free, but to think free, to see free, and to be a living example of freedom for generations to come. I'm Millions. Thank you for your time, your heart, and your ears. Let's stay woke, stay strong, and stay united. Peace and power to you all.